Hi, I'm Christy.
And I'm Abby.
And we're Homemaker Geeks. Today we're going to be talking about setting the table, tablescaping, and Miss Abby, is going to talk about napkin folding. So first I want to start off with the history of setting the table because many of you will already know how to set the table and might find this a boring subject, so I'm going to make this a little bit more interesting for you. Also, for those of you who think it's not important to set your table, knowing the history behind setting the table might encourage you to put the fork in the right place, but it is a pet peeve, I'm sorry. When I go over to someone's house and they don't have the table set right, I want to reset the table for them. Anyways, the history of setting the table. People have been setting the table as far back as history has found about 1,000 years. Before it kind of started with, you go over to someone's house and you'd bring your own knife and spoon. The forks weren't invented at that time. You'd have a piece of, like a bread bowl, and you'd eat your meal out of the bread bowl, and either you'd finish the bread bowl or you'd give it to the poor people in the street or feed it to the dogs under the table. But as time's gone on, we had fancier table settings, and table setting eventually had its own set standard. We've been doing this for a long time, but sadly in our generation, people have kind of, I don't know, maybe moms have stopped teaching, or people in general. I don't know where the failure has started, but people just aren't setting the table anymore, and it breaks my heart. I think it's important at every meal to have the table set properly. This way your children will be trained on how to do it properly, and it also looks very elegant and makes the mealtime feel like you're really sitting together and eating. I think tablecloths are optional, especially depending on the age of your children. The last thing you want to be doing at every single meal is washing a tablecloth. The tablecloth will get worn out very quickly, and you'll also get worn out very quickly. So for our family, we do it without the tablecloth unless we have a special dinner like Christmas or Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. But we do placemats. We have 2 different kinds of placemats we use. Currently, since we have children under the age of 5, they get to use the plastic placemats, like this. Plastic, you can just squirt it with a squirt bottle and wash it off and put it back on the table when it's all nice and clean. This also keeps my table clean, and if I can't get to wiping the table right away, all the dried, gunky food stays on here. I can pick this up and put it in my sink, and my table stays nice and clean. But I prefer not to eat off these. I don't think it's elegant enough for my husband and I. I prefer our part of the dinner to look a little bit more prettier. So I have a collection of nice tablecloths, or placemats. Thank you. This is why you're here. Keep me sane. Different kinds of placemats, coordinates with different plates and stuff. I don't have a whole lot, but I'm starting a collection because I think it's just kind of fun to dress up the table and make each meal kind of something special. So you start with your placemat. Then, in the middle of the placemat, you place your plate. And you have the bottom of the plate. It can be either directly in the middle of the placemat, or you have about a 1-inch gap from the bottom of the plate to the bottom of the placemat. On the left side goes the fork, and the fork go 1 inch from the bottom of the placemat. If this is too complicated, just keep the fork on the left side of the plate. I know you eat with your right hand, the fork goes on the left side. The knife is next on the right side, blade facing in toward the plate, and then it's the spoon. That is your basic place setting, and it's fairly important. Just practice. Fork on the left side, knife on the right side, then the spoon, with the knife blade facing toward the plate. One of the reasons why we put the blade is sometimes if you have a sharp knife, the last thing you want to be doing is reaching for your spoon and getting all cut and gashed up and ending up in the emergency room instead of enjoying a nice little meal. Not that that happens, but you never know. You never know how sharp someone's knife could be, because it's pretty scary. You put your fork, and another reason, if you use napkins, whether you use a basic fold or some sort of fancy pretty fold, if you put your napkin on the left side and you put your fork on top of it, that'll be just easy to remember. Just stick the fork on top of the napkin. Every time you put your napkin down, then the fork. I don't set the table anymore, which has been quite an adventure because I have my 5-year-old doing it. So he has his unique 5-year-old ways. He still puts everything, knife, fork, spoon, all in the right spot. May not be precise as to like inches away from the edge of the placemat, but he's learning at least where they go, and he'll impress his future wife someday. She's going to be like, he could do his laundry and set the table. And she's going to be so lucky. So if you really want to take, if you already know how to set the table and you want to take table setting to the next notch, you can do tablescaping. And that basically is making a pretty centerpiece in the middle of your table. A lot of people also use tablescaping for on top of bookshelves and, you know, fireplaces and stuff. But you could do tablescaping on your table. So I'm going to start going to Hobby Lobby and every once in a while and finding the clearance items, you know, they call them school clearance items. So I can do different themed tablescapes in the middle of my table for like when guests come over and just for family meals. Right now I have a summer theme. I'm going to have a picture up, but a summer themed tablescape where I just picked little bits of things from all over my house, and it looks really dorky, but I try. So, yeah, try some tablescaping. I'll have some links on the blog. They'll talk about different techniques on tablescaping, like using a mirror to add depth and how to arrange everything from like lowest to highest to create a nice visual. For our table, we're trying not to go too high because we all each sit on the side of the table, and if the tablescape is too high, we won't be able to see each other, and it totally ruins the family experience, which is, well, I mean, when you have a 3- and a 5-year-old, there's only so much.
They're kind of short.
Yeah, they're very short. But one day they'll be tall and they'll probably surpass me in height. So
Napkins are an essential part of setting a table properly. There are paper napkins you can use, or you can use cloth napkins. And with both kinds, you can actually fold them in many, many different ways. Paper napkins, you can do just a simple, just fold it in half and have a rectangle, set your fork on top and you're good to go. Or you can do it diagonally like that and have a triangle like that and put your fork on top and it's done. Or you can get a lot more creative with different napkin folds. So, it's a very simple fold. That's the first one that I learned that I've remembered for about 10 years now, so it's very easy to remember. You take a napkin, cloth or paper, and you want it folded in quarters, and put the edges up to the top, and then you just simply fold them each down at different lengths, just a little bit apart, like that. Fold 3 layers down and leave the top one up, and then you just fold it backwards like that. And set your fork inside it. It's a little pocket for your fork. And then this one for a cloth napkin. This is called the Bishop's Hat. And you just take your napkin and fold it in half diagonally. And then fold the corners up to the center with all the edges at the top there. Fold the bottom corner up, keep it about 1 inch away from the edges, and then fold that right back down towards the bottom. Then you flip it over and fold the outside corners into the center, tuck the one inside of the other like this, and you can stand it up and ta-da, there's a bishop's hat. Otherwise, you can, there's different variations. Yeah, I wasn't going to do that, was I? Okay, ta-da, it's a bishop's hat. There's variations you can do even off of just this one. You can make it into a butterfly or a blossom. There's just by folding down different parts of it. Not like that, actually. But it's very...
yeah, very simple. Very easy to do.
Yes, there we go.
So now you have 4 different napkin folds. You got your basic rectangle, triangle, the fork holder, which is a great reminder because the forks go on the napkins, and then the bishop's hat. We'll have links to really nifty napkin folding books. There we go. Napkin folding books you can find online. I have actually 2 copies, not 2 copies of this one, but 2 different books on folding napkins. Again, you can, if you have any questions or thoughts or comments, feel free to email them, Christy@homemakergeek.com. If you want to continue to be advised as to updates or other articles that we find interesting, go ahead and join our Facebook page, or Facebook/HomemakerGeek, or Geeks. I'm pretty sure if you just search for us on Facebook, you'll find us. We only have 27 likes, so go like our Facebook page. It'll make us feel very special. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page. There will be a little subscribe button up there. And this way, whenever we have a new video that actually comes out, you can be instantly notified through YouTube instead of just sitting there waiting, drooling over our blog every day. We're going to be rolling out, we're cutting back again because we are moms and wives, and that's our first responsibility. We're going to do 1 episode a month until we figure out how to balance. So, subscribe to our YouTube page, like our Facebook page, follow our blog, send us questions. You can even send rants.
There's a subject that you just want to hear covered on here too.
Yeah. I mean, we have a whole list of subjects, but I'd still love to see, you know, if you want to see something covered, like how to make homemade laundry detergent, which we will cover, because making homemade laundry detergent is fun and economical. Feel free. Again, that email address is Christine@homemakergeek.com. And I think that's it for today. All right. So thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next month on Homemaker Geeks.